Today is, well, today's not Friday, Saturday, but we're going to do a Friday night reads, and I am reading A Noble Spirit. This is by Joanne M. Anderson, and it's about a horse, a girl who finds a horse and basically befriends him. And I'm going to read some of it. I'm on chapter 8, and basically she just has the main character. Her name is Mandy. Mandy has just seen her dad work at the horse salon, or horse ranch thing. So we are going to find out what she does, and she's running to tell her mother. Mandy and Ian burst into the Sullivans' back door, all breathless and talking rapidly at the same time. "Daddy's at the farm." Some lady was showing him how to lead a horse out of the arena. Mandy chattered. "It was Smith Sullivan," Anne shouted. "And I saw him first in the binoculars. He was walking with a woman to get their horses out of the arena. They moved them to the pasture." They stopped and looked at each other. The binoculars? The beach towel? The backpack? They forgot everything in their hurry to come home. Just then Mr. Sullivan drove in and flew out the front door, clamoring at his driver's side door, once again talking at the same time and firing questions. "Girls, girls, girls," exclaimed Big Dan. Whatever are you talking about?" he asked, with a smirk on his face and a twinkle in his eye. "We saw you," said Anne, "from the hilltop hideout with binoculars." With that final word, the girls exchanged glances. "And what about the binoculars?" he asked. In our excitement, Dad, we forgot to pick them up. "The towel, the backpack, it's all still up there," Mandy explained. "Well, Sweet Pea, what have I told you about borrowing something of value from someone? That I am to take extra good care of it because it doesn't belong to me and someone trusted me enough to loan it," Manny responded quickly. "Okay, I'll tell you all about it inside. After supper, we'll walk up to the hill to get the stuff," Big Dan said, putting an arm gently around each girl's shoulder. "Does your mother know where you are, Anne?" "Please, call her. You are normally at home by now," Martha instructed as the girls, just as the phone rang. It was Kate. Martha assured her that all was well, and the girls lost track of time in the excitement of seeing Big Dan at the horse farm. If okay with Kate, Anne could eat supper with them. Then Big Dan and Mandy would walk back up the hill and walk Annie home to her back door. The girls left the backpack, beach towel, and Dan's binoculars up there, she explained. Anne has accepted partial responsibility and wants to go back with them to pick everything up. That was fine with Kate, and when Martha asked how she was doing, Kate said, "Very well, my friend. I am feeling strong and really enjoyed being in church on Sunday. See you again soon." Danny popped downstairs to find out all about supper. Mandy noticed Annie's face brighten with interest. She wanted to roll her eyes, but she had to admit that her brother was quite the cutie at 16. Martha had an extra place for Annie, and the five sat down to a spaghetti pizza dish and artisan bread that Martha had just learned to make. Annie loved it and asked for the casserole recipe. She was a little nervous about being across the table from Danny, but they all sat in rapt attention. as Big Dan relayed a series of events and brought him to leading horses from the arena to the pasture. While he didn't mention the amount of money, he said he would be working there part-time for a few weeks while Colonel Paul recovered, and a smile and a nod to Martha signified that it was a good thing. And the phone rang again, and they could hear Big Dan saying, "Yes, yes, that's good news." "Oh, good. I'll be over soon." That was the hospital, he reported. "Colonel Paul has come out of surgery and is in good shape. Annie's asking who brought him to the hospital. The doctor said he'll be fine after a few weeks of rest, at least a month." Mandy, Annie, and Big Dan skipped dessert to go to the hilltop high out. Danny went along too, and on the way down the hill to the Dawsons, he asked Annie if she ever stayed after school for the baseball games. She said she'd ask her mom and let him know if she could do that sometime. Mandy and Danny still had time for homework, and Big Dan headed for the hospital. His visit with Colonel Paul was filled with gratitude. Both were men of few words, so conversation didn't roll along like it did with the girls or between Martha and Kate. Big Dan and Colonel Paul just sat there quietly, as men will, for half an hour. The prosthetic foot device rested on the chair nearby, and neither man mentioned it. When Big Dan said he met Miss Adams and he could help at the farm until the colonel was completely back on his feet, the bedridden man nodded with a graceful smile. He was a bit groggy, but did express concern about losing his job when he heard he would have a 4 to 6 week recovery. "I've already lost mine," stated Big Dan, explaining why he had stopped at the farm in the first place, looking for work. "I met Miss Adams when I went back to check on those loose horses. I'd help out at the best as I can, for as long as it takes." And there was more thankfulness by the patient for Big Dan's quick response. "Another 10 or 20 minutes, and the doctor said I could have died there. Because of your quick action, they got it drained and fixed. I can't quite imagine dying on a barn floor after 2 tons of duty and heavy combat in Afghanistan," he said as he closed his eyes, and he drifted off. Big Dan set the wallet on bedside stand, asked the nurse on duty if she thought he needed anything, and said he'd be back the next afternoon. Mandy's father went home, tired and full of thankfulness himself, even if it's just for temporary work. Mandy's arm healed quickly. So she did all the strengthening exercises the physical therapy ordered, and Mr. Morton carried the family on his company's health insurance for 2 more months, which covered her medical expenses. She visits Noble every day, and Ian climbed on a few more times. She figured out how to slide off him, bend her knees slightly at landing, and stay on her feet most of the time. They petted Noble, brushed him, combed his mane and tail, fed him apple and carrot pieces, not too many. Kate had warned them, sang to him, and laid on the beach towel. They talked sometimes, and other times just drifted in their own thoughts, as their friendship deepened. Mandy talked about the Wicked Three and how she wished she was not so tall. She wondered if she had ever even had a boyfriend. Probably not, she decided, brightening up at her next thought. "I'll find a way to always have a horse so I won't be lonely at all." Annie shared how much happier she was now that her mother could go out a little, and they were both making friends. "I wanted to be with her all the time so she wouldn't be frightened, and I felt if I made friends, I was deserting her. I think she needed me a lot when we first moved here, but now she's better, mostly because of your mother's friendship and encouragement." She went grocery shopping alone yesterday for the first time and saw one of the Bible study ladies there. I guess they sort of did a high five and whooped and celebrated her success in the produce aisle, and the manager came over to see what was going on. Oh, hey, I almost forgot. Can you and Mom come over on Saturday afternoon in 2 weeks for our Kennedy Derby Day party? Every year, she continued, we get silly cheap hats like at the dollar store or a garage sale and decorate them with things we find outside, leaves, flowers, stones, feathers. We could come up here for acorns and pine cones, but it's a long walk. Anyway, we decorate our hats and wear them all afternoon. Mom cooks ribs and makes mint juleps with sparkling soda. We bake a Kennedy pecan pie the day before, and we just have a lot of fun. She and her sister, my Aunt Donna, started it when they were kids, so we have carried on the tradition. Mandy asked if her aunt would come that day. No, Aunt Donna doesn't like us anymore. Mom didn't say so, but I know. Last time we were at their house to look at our apartments, we were going to move near them. I overheard my uncle and aunt talking about how to discourage us from moving to that side of the state. I didn't know I was outside their open bedroom window getting the frisbee from their dog. It was better here, I think, anyway. But I know Mom misses her sister. They picked a fight with Mom, and we had to pack our stuff and walk a couple miles to the bus station. We took the next bus back to my grandmother's. Mom was pretty upset that Aunt Donna didn't come after us or even call to see if we made it home safely. We really like our little house, well, except for the color, and church, and school. Please come for Kennedy Derby Day. It's silly and we have a lot of fun. I'll ask. Sounds like a good time. And I always watch the race, Mandy responded. Then she told Anne about her noble spirit. I think of Noble when I'm sad about something or those girls come near me or I fight with my brother. Noble is always so gentle and calm, even though he doesn't have a horse friend in his pasture. And he is half blind. He's out of here most of the nights by himself, and he's always in a good mood and friendly. He holds up his head up high and lets us sit on him. Noble can be our inspiration, Annie. I think he's incredibly full of courage. To think of him makes me strong and happy, no matter what anybody says. Annie smiled and squeezed Mandy's hand. I need a noble spirit sometimes, especially since someone asked my father, and I don't have one. What? As soon as she thought she could hold Noble's mane, Mandy decided to sit on him again. They bribed him to turn around and line up at the fence. Annie stood in front of him on the ground because Mandy didn't need her help to get on. She swung one long leg over him and pulled herself upright with his mane. She sat there for a minute and then told Annie to move to the fence. Mandy had been reading the specifics of horseback riding every spare moment in recent weeks. The limpy Manuel, Paul, had said that Noble was a finely trained horse. Mandy let out a breath, forced her shoulders to sag a little, and sink into a seat before she slightly squeezed her fat thighs. And she reminded herself to breathe. Noble moved off, stepping slowly while Mandy held on. Anne adjusted herself to side and front to back, motions that coincided with his steps. He walked along near the fence for about 20 steps when a deer jumped into the woods. Noble was startled and broke into a trot, heading right for the large fallen oak tree. And that's it.